Thank you.
Thank you. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube after the meeting. This meeting is being held in person at the location provided in this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance. You all right, or did you break it?
I did something odd.
It should be under another tab.
That's what I thought, but it's not.
This comes under the class of technological problems interrupting virtual broadcast.
Precisely. So the meeting is still on, it's still going. Well, we can wait.
No, it's probably, it should still be recording, it's just the, it's the
Oh.
screen display that's confused, not the Zoom.
Hold on, I found it. And let me make sure it's recording. Stop recording. Okay, it's still recording.
Thank you. The technological problem has been resolved. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting. The piece of this that I forgot to mention is this is a meeting of the public access cable committee. I should put that right up top. So that's who we are, folks. So as we are all physically present, we can do a simple roll call and if somebody came in via Zoom. So Paul, you're here.
I'm here.
Excellent. Pete here. Steve
Here.
Faith
Here.
me here, and we are joined by Joe, the manager. Thank you. Okay, are there any public comments? Seeing no public, I suspect not. If we're having any comments from the committee,
I have two.
congratulations.
Go ahead, you have two. First one is Faith. For 12 meetings, we missed a typo.
We have.
Check out the minutes. See what the name of the conference room is. No.
Saldonic.
no. Okay. We missed it every single time.
But it's a name, so we
Oh,
may
what's
not
in the
know
name?
the spelling.
What's in the name, right?
That's right.
The second is a technical thing that was pointed out to me because I didn't see it. When Nate, this lengthy talk about the abatements on Zoom. He was just in a little tiny box and we couldn't understand the word he said. Tom mentioned that he couldn't hear him. Is that something that we screwed up, or that's the only thing we could do?
Was this at the assessors meeting?
No, it was his Nate's report to the board of selectmen.
Oh, to the Board of
It lasted
Selectmen.
about an hour.
There's nothing we can do about that. That's a Zoom issue.
Well,
Well, we
we're not
should
how
have to
this-
make the picture big, so we could have the speaker be full screen. So
We
And-
probably could.
when we were in
Also,
home, we
in
watched the
picture.
cable down there. When they did Zoom, it was about 2/3 of the screen would be a speaker, and the other little people, the names
Right.
waiting just on the line.
that's another view that Zoom supports.
So the host would have to,
That'd be up to the town manager. wouldn't it?
right, she would have to make it full screen.
And you said the audio was poor as well.
Wow. Couldn't understand, they couldn't understand it either.
Well, actually,
Tom mentioned that it was.
That's his
awful.
own thing.
Joe, whatever computer is being used to put Zoom on our system, doesn't have to be the host, but that's the picture we put on our system. So if you go to that, the top right-hand corner, there's a
Right.
way of changing the display.
right,
And you can also pin a picture, so something like this, you pin it and he doesn't go away. Much as we might have wanted him to, and he doesn't go
You
away.
can also tell it to go to whoever's speaking.
That's what you said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to that, yeah. That tends to zip around people who cough and,
Yeah.
raise a glass of single malt and.
Yeah.
so.
there are adjustments for the audio that we can work
I'm
on,
sure there were, I just,
yeah.
that particular thing which everybody on the lake was listening to. You couldn't hear it,
That's right.
Oh, okay, you couldn't hear it on, watching it on TV,
that's what we want watching on TV.
You were
live.
watching it
We're watching
live.
it live.
okay,
The problem is, the blame, even though it doesn't fall on us, falls on us from the viewer, because they're like, oh, Pat screwed up yet
That's right.
again, even though Pat did not screw up yet. So personally, that is bothersome to me, that,
Was this in the town hall?
Yes.
Okay.
so they should be set up.
So
Yeah.
We may, you have something in your report addressing that later on.
no, I don't,
Oh, okay,
This was a screen and this is about where he was speaking.
yeah, no,
All the rest were names.
that's fixable.
But even,
That's the
it
way
doesn't
of
fix the
running
audio
the-
problem,
No.
I mean, unless you.
If it were bigger, would it fix the
They
audio?
wouldn't
No,
change
the audio is, do you have it connected to
Audio
the
is
computer or to
separate.
your system, or
it's connected,
from the computer to your system, or is it
it's
just?
connected from the monitor, yeah, to our system,
So you get a live feed from the computer?
yes,
It's the town, the select board microphones, which are still wired, they're not wireless.
right,
They come through a snake into the control room. And are directly connected into our system through, I believe, a mixer. It's a small mixer. Yeah. But these are two different problems, which is one of the
Or maybe
questions.
the mixer was,
I
how
don't,
did the recording come out?
I don't know, I can,
I didn't listen to it on YouTube, so I already seen it.
I can, take a look at it and figure out what happened, do you know what the date of the meeting, it wasn't last meeting. Was it the one before?
At least. I mean, it took up an hour. And the
Okay.
All the lakes are listening madly to it,
Yeah,
and it was Tom mentioned it during the meeting, it said it sounds very muffled.
I have found if you listen to it on YouTube. And try watching it on TV, which I've done from home. It's clearer on YouTube. So, the reason I'm raising that is Comcast may be part of the problem. So when we check it, we need to check it end to end, step by step.
But people in the room were having difficulty.
Yes.
hearing it. So that to
Oh,
me,
people in the room.
Yes, Tom said, I'm having trouble getting this, I guess they don't want to say anything.
okay, so I
It could
will,
also be the person's computer's microphone
Yeah.
wasn't set correct.
That could be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, because if
I
the
don't know.
input is bad,
Yeah.
it
right.
doesn't matter what you do.
That could
If it was muffled in the room, I bet you anything, it was Nate's
problem.
either he had to up his microphone. Or he was speaking in an angle that it wasn't.
Wasn't close to it, or he had an echo
Yeah.
room, or
Right.
lots of ways.
It just would behoove the selectmen to say something to them, but people can't hear this.
Yeah.
You know,
Fix it.
I'll review the video.
I'm not techie, but there's.
Yeah.
So many
Okay.
people watching that particular thing.
Thank you, Pete. Steve, you have.
And I'd like to publicly commend Joe and her team for outstanding broadcast at the graduation.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you,
It was
yeah,
great.
we
That
did a
was super.
4-camera shoot, which was nice, and
Next year, 32.
yes, next year 32, Steve, you can run 30 of them. Well, I have to give a lot of credit to Eric Foster, who is a new production technician. He had everything ready to go and had everybody set up really well. So I have to give him some credit for that. But
how do you dry? Because it was wet, right?
yep, I had purchased some camera covers a while ago. So we did have them covered and they had umbrellas.
Videographer covers.
No videographer covers, but we made do, and it worked out really well.
they need to put in windbreakers.
Yeah,
I just wanted it noted that it was live streamed
yes,
from the football soccer field.
yeah,
So there you go.
Right,
Yeah.
Were you there or were you watching?
No, I tuned it in for a while.
And
My wife was there.
It looked good.
Yeah, I didn't watch the entire graduation.
yeah,
but
it
I
was
watched
good, we had good shots, good,
Nice.
good angles, good
Yeah, it was
shots.
great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was nice, yeah. Good work.
noted in the minutes, I trust. Oh, of course, you brought it up. So.
I'm ready right now.
We, still doing,
No one's going there,
right?
Well, what is this finished?
When he's done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, yes, public comment. So according to the minutes, I was to look into monetization possibilities on YouTube where we could maybe earn pennies, nickels and dimes. And I'm gonna give this to you, Joe, because like basically you need to reach 1,000 subscribers. And I believe the last time I looked, Pacc has 800 and something.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And that's gonna keep growing because people are subscribing like me. You have to have 4,000 public watch hours. I don't know how many you have, but
Yeah,
if you have YouTube Studio, you can check all kinds of different analytics of who's watching when, the age groups, the demographics, all that stuff.
Wow.
I'm gonna give you this,
Okay.
because I'm far away from getting to be monetized myself, my own channel, but
Okay,
apparently, so if you go into YouTube Studio, that app,
yeah, I use that.
there's a $sign, you can look at it, it's gonna give you the status of where, Pacc is at.
Oh, okay,
And supposedly, YouTube will supposedly email you when you are eligible to monetize.
okay.
And then you get, nickels on the dime or whatever you get.
Now, does it cost to subscribe to YouTube?
No, so the way YouTube gets their money is if I have YouTube Premium personally, it's $11.99 a month, so I have no ads when I watch anything on YouTube. And if, but a piece of my $11.99 a month goes to whoever's monetized. You're not monetized yet, so YouTube's keeping that revenue. If you don't have premium, then you get those annoying ads popping up.
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, and end of whatever you're watching.
Yeah, the first ad you have to watch, but the second ad they put
They have
on, there's
clickable
a
ones
click.
you can get
skip.
through and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
depends what they pay.
Depends on, yeah, so what they pick, and then again, but those, if you have 1 million viewers, then, you get 1 million pennies or whatever it is, it can, some people make. But the threshold to reach monetization is pretty steep.
Mhm.
You have to have $4,000
Yeah.
in your time.
And we would have to find out how that relates to municipal finances.
Yes.
Um,
Right.
it may not,
Mm.
May not be appropriate.
it may not be, I don't want to say allowed, but,
For a 501c, it's a whole different.
oh, they can do whatever they want.
But there's a
Yeah.
municipal department.
Okay.
We're part of the municipality.
Yeah,
may
so
not be
maybe the
allowed to
town's gonna
go
want a fraction of a penny. or
Yeah.
something, But,
Right.
just curiously, at some point, when we start to get close, because you are picking up subscribers now and again, right?
Yes,
And I check too, I just, because I'm nosy and we actually watch a lot of your content, meetings that we miss or whatever. When we start getting close to that 1,000 threshold, then we can visit. It may, maybe it's not money for us, money for the town. And again, if it's multiplied times thousands of viewers, and
yeah,
it can be something.
yeah. Okay, good.
That's all I know. So,
Any further comments from the committee? Joe, this story time is your group, right?
No, ours was last time.
It's good at 11 AM.
Whoever's up next after us.
Fortunes is next.
I don't have my calendar with me. I mean, as far as who goes next.
The next group is the Fortunes, but I don't know if they know it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I can contact them
And
and,
they're next door, Rock one.
yeah, tell them they can do it anytime that day.
Okay, all right.
I prefer 11,
Very good.
but if they can't do 11, I'll do whatever time.
And they're away a lot, so the morning is much better for them.
Yeah,
So we'll have to do the Jeep sometime.
Jenny the G, yeah.
So the next item is communications. Do you want to say anything about ARPA, or we're going to leave that?
I have that in my,
Oh, that's what I was asking about. You
Oh.
have that in your,
oh, yeah,
as long as you've got it in yours, that's fine.
yeah.
Okay. You said no to it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
I was talking about audio quality of the town hall.
Oh, okay,
Ka-ching, right?
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. I'm good. Communications, hearing none. Review and approve minutes from 5:08. Should be,
Couple of questions on these.
please.
Question one, are we to assume that those of us who are being reappointed will be duly reappointed, and reached out and asked to, I mean, I've already done whatever they asked me to do, but I haven't heard a peep out of it.
Select board has to go through it, and then we will have to go and swear in again if we're reappointed.
But you don't have to appear before the board.
No, you do if there's a fourth person. There are three of us.
Oh, yes, right.
A fourth person, we'd all have to.
You know, if
appear.
you're new now, you have to go before the board.
That's right.
We're always going up to new people from the senior center.
But
But
I've
you
got an ethic.
automatically, there's no, opportunity flag.
Have you heard of this competition?
And, I don't remember that. I don't
Beating
remember,
down the doors.
I don't remember having to be re-sworn in.
I thought you did each, yeah, I'm sure you
I've
did.
never done it.
I don't,
No,
I
Many,
think-
many times.
I had, yeah, when you do that course on
Ethics.
ethics, you have to turn in the paper and then you get sworn in again.
No, that's the first, you don't need to do the ethics.
right, but you do get sworn in.
You do have to do
cycle.
the ethics
Yeah,
within a reasonable time of being nominated or whatever, but that's a separate thing.
On reappointment, you have to do the ethics in there.
You have to do the ethics every 3 years,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years, regardless.
Right,
And you could be off a board for a year and then come on a board and still be under the ethics.
Right.
yeah.
And then it's when that ends.
Okay.
The ethics is a separate thing.
okay, well, I know I did it all at the same time.
Well, it could be that yours is run out, so.
Yeah, I
The
think
quiz,
I
the
did.
quiz that you can't fail.
You can't fail.
Oh, no, just keep
But
pressing.
it took me a
button.
long time to try again.
Yeah,
Well, you
With
do-
colleges like that.
You do have
Yeah.
to be, you do have to be sworn in, because I've been sworn in twice. So. As far
Yeah,
as I
me
know,
too.
but they will tell us, we will be
Yeah.
informed, and they haven't yet. So I don't even know where it all stands, so.
And my other, hopefully quick question is, in the minutes, manager's update, asked about fair use, you've got a document that you shared. Is that document something that you can put on the, Pacc website for all users to be able to access? I bet you it's helpful.
I could, I'm not actually updating the site right now because they're going through. I could. They're going through a transition to a different website. So I would prefer to put it up after they do the transition.
Very good.
Any further comments on the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I
It's unanimous. Don't have to do the neighbor. Unless you want two votes.
Yeah.
I'm calling it open. So, managers monthly report.
Okay, this is Joe speaking. I'm working with the production technician on different priorities. Eric has been doing a lot of work in the studio, organizing the studio. And we have a few tasks that he's going to be working on. One of the things that he wants to do is to have a contest for some content. And it's a great idea. We'd like to do it. However, the only thing is we can't use our funds for a prize. And anyway, he mentioned that he'd like to talk to the lawyer about what's allowed and what's not allowed. And I mentioned to him that I would ask the committee if they would allow him to go and speak to the lawyer.
I'm not sure the town would let him,
Why?
because he's not a head of department kind of level.
Oh,
Anyone can speak to the board. You can make an appointment.
Town lawyer?
Sure. You just make an appointment. You
Yeah,
can be a citizen,
Really?
or working
Okay.
within the
No,
town,
but
and you
just
can
wait.
request a meeting
It
with the
just
lawyer.
amazes me.
And
I
then
could go
just-
as well because I'm a department head.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but would you go with him?
Sure, I didn't plan on it, but if that's the case, yes, I can do
No, from
that.
what they're saying, it's not necessarily the case, it's just striking it.
I wanted to get
Curious.
approval from the committee that was okay for him to go and do that.
Make a motion that we approve, for, Eric Foster and or, any other staff member from Pacc to go speak with town council about, running contest.
Okay,
Second.
Any
So
further
explain the
discussion?
contest to me, please.
well, it's just in development now, but some kind of contest for people to submit content, what I love about Lunenburg and
Oh,
or
make it
something like
In
that.
home video.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, cool.
and it'll give us more content.
Yeah.
And it'll get more people interested in working with us.
Okay, so you're gonna set up parameters for length or?
Yes.
all that?
Length and video formats and
Topics.
topics and, yeah, it's just, I can't go to our accountant and say, I need to withdraw even $50 for a prize.
mhm.
The town's gonna say, no way.
But
We
one
don't
thing
do
you
that.
could do, if it would work, is, make the person videographer of the year and give them a plaque.
Yeah.
Because that would work, and it's not giving them $50 out of the kitty. I'm just suggesting, so
Which would you
Think
prefer if you were in the contest?
the one that I'm allowed to have, because if I can't have the $50, I'll take it.
But if you
Yeah.
could have the $50,
Oh, sure.
Can you accept donations?
Yeah, that's what I was
that
gonna
is
ask.
something that we have
Would
to,
the
I'd be glad to
chamber-
donate to.
Or even the Chamber of Commerce. There, I know there's some kind of business association for Lunenburg, and they might be willing to supply the prize.
yeah,
And they could use it, the content, if they wanted to promote Lunenburg.
They're putting up a welcome to Bloomberg side right now.
You could also look into the possibilities when you talk to the lawyer about making a fundraiser like a charity. And charging a nominal fee for people to enter, like $5. Then that becomes a problem.
Mhm.
Like it's revenue neutral type of thing.
This would be the videographers, right?
Or you could have local vendors, make a donation for the grand prize, which you also might, whatever. I can just-
yeah, Eric mentioned that, like going to, like El Forno's and see if they would donate $25 gift certificate for,
Advertising for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who would judge?
well, you, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah, we could have the
So you
committee,
get to say who's not eligible, members of PAC would not be
Yeah.
eligible.
right.
Some of their families.
And their families, yeah.
yeah.
So that's what we've been,
It's a nice idea.
yeah, he's very excited about it, so.
I'd love to hear why other people love Lunenburg. I know why I do. but-
Yeah, yeah. I updated the Castis software this month. Seems to be running well, and has not gone down in about a month since we replaced the memory
And go rid of the browser.
and get rid of the browser.
I suspect the browser's being the real.
Yeah, so it's been working out really well, really well. I also got the TriCaster to go live, which was always a problem because of the source URL. Because of the network at TCP wasn't working for things to go through
Mhm.
for live, but now they are, and we Eric and I discussed, in addition to doing a contest, we talked about increasing content shows and so forth. And we were hoping to make one of them a live show, do a
Really?
live show. So, yeah, so it's all in formulation, but at least we know we can do it now.
Excellent.
Yeah. Financials. We did not get our Comcast bill, not Comcast deposit.
Hmm.
I ran these reports on Friday. And I ran them through May 31st. And there was no deposit from Comcast, so I then ran it through June 10th. Still no deposit from Comcast and no interest since March,
Really?
really. So I think the accounting department is really busy. They're down a person or two. So I think they've gotten it, but they haven't posted it yet.
I hope they've got it, because we have a serious problem giving away our budget is structured.
Mhm.
Right.
Can you pursue, well, did you want me to call them?
No, I have to go in. I have to go in tomorrow to town hall, so I can ask when I go in,
Politely or the way I would?
definitely politely.
Then the next step, see if there is an issue, it hasn't come. Or they haven't posted it, and I'm going to just talk to me.
Okay,
Work something out, because finances is where this committee is supposed to be.
Yeah, oversight.
yeah. So according to the financials in your packet, we are at 939, 573.
I have a question.
Sure.
Last meeting, we voted, when you mentioned interest, we voted to invest some of the,
That's on the, it's on the
Yeah,
agenda.
okay.
Okay.
Just hope it-
Yeah.
There's one issue, we are almost out of money in our payroll videographer line item. I need to do a line item transfer.
Wrong.
Well, I think from new equipment. We've got 2 weeks left in the year and
Oh,
we
we
haven't
have,
spent
you're
it. So I'm gonna go in and talk to Karen tomorrow. She helps put the line item transfer together and then it goes to Heather for approval.
Do you need anything from us, like in terms of a vote? to give you, no.
If it's new equipment, that's capital budget, right?
Yes,
So is there somewhere else it could come from? The confusion is, we're supposed to monitor it. The money coming in from Comcast runs our operations, business operations.
okay,
The money coming from the almost $1 million fund is the capital, and that's the new equipment. So the structure of the budget was set up that way. And now I've said it, you remember it because you're doing it with me. Is there something else, somewhere else we have enough? It's
Well-
only 2 weeks worth, right? 3 weeks worth.
3 weeks worth.
So
Yeah.
it can be anything, you know, like.
I could take it out of advertising. Actually, I could take it out of 2 line items, advertising and vendor expenses. Because neither of them have,
That sounds like a much better idea if you're good at that.
So those other lines are gonna roll into the next fiscal year. Is that how that works?
No, we kind of come to a dead halt at the end to start the new budget on the 1st of July.
What about,
The money is left over,
yeah,
get through a strange and weird process, don't ask me about it. Get put back into the fund and re-qualified and approved by the state. And that doesn't happen typically till July or August. But it doesn't matter, that's why we keep enough money in the basic fund to make sure we can fund our budget for the beginning of the financial year. We really try and do this, and it drives me nuts every year.
sure, I understand. We don't have to do a spend down. We're not gonna lose.
Oh, no,
anything.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Got you. No, that's a really good question.
yes.
We used to do that in the company I worked for, so.
I had to spend $23,000 in 3 days.
I could do that.
That was.
There isn't that
If
much,
you bid, so.
there isn't that much Pinot Grigio in the world.
Departments in school didn't spend everything in their budget.
Yeah,
I know, we don't want that.
That's what you less.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, lots of places.
Always
like
been
that.
that.
yeah,
We
when I
done.
worked for the city of Medford, it was that way and Commonwealth.
So that's how they get around it. It goes back to the general fund in the state reallocates or approves. the
And that would
reallocation.
be the issue, because our funds are protected, they're not general funds.
Yeah.
And they do not revert to general funds if we don't spend.
Okay, very good.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get that COVID money because it sounds like the federal government is trying to get Massachusetts to return $2.9 million, which they already spent. They allocated to the towns and
Well,
stuff. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Do you have something to discuss on that?
On,
This is the ARPA funds.
yes, that's coming up.
I know, I'm just mentioning because Faith's raising it.
And I keep raising things at inappropriate times, so.
No, I'll just we'll get to that in just one
Okay,
minute.
Tell you as they come.
Okay,
As you can see on the calendar, last month and this month, last month we did. Well, actually, the third, we did graduation, as Steve mentioned, we did Memorial Day, that was a 4-camera. We did a baccalaureate, I don't know how to pronounce that.
you said it right.
And those are the three main ones that we did. And I don't know how to get this in color when I go to the copier at Town Hall, but the last couple of pages are our program analysis. We have 105 programs so far. Last year, we ended at 82.
Wow.
Wow,
So we
that's excellent.
yes, we've really stepped up this year. Yeah, I only imported one show called Americana from Peg Media. Which is a little hokey. They have like PSAs, but they're like from the 1950s and
Yeah.
60s.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah. So anyway,
You do have a printer, right?
I do.
you? Why don't you just print multiple copies? It'll be a copy.
Use up her ink.
yeah,
Ink's a valid expense.
I could do that.
Just a suggestion.
We are going to review the Castus encoder when it's available. It's probably a couple of weeks out. It's supposed to be a plug and play, really easy encoder to use, so we want to check that out. We worked on the ARPA presentation, Steve and I. Steve gave the presentation on the 6th of June.
We had very short notice.
Right. We broke it down into 3 sections. Studio enhancements, videographer kits, and improvements to town hall environment, which includes audio and speakers.
Paying attention, Pete? Did you hear that?
We need to talk about the hybrid building situation too, because that,
A hybrid?
what the building committee's come up with a hybrid system.
Oh, yeah,
Take
that's
the
not,
town hall
that's
and-
not part of this, yeah.
No, but so people relate to it,
Sure.
and we're gonna. We're staying.
So the total number that we requested was $50,750. Which we like to say 50,000 just to round it nicely. Studio enhancements would include PTZ cameras for the set. There would be 3. Those are quite expensive. And peripheral equipment as well. So that would come to $34,350. Videographer kits and remote recorder broadcast, for remote recorder broadcast would be, basically, they would have backpacks with everything they need in it to go. And right now, you're picking and choosing, and
Mhm.
This
This
would-
is particularly for last minute, which we've suffered from time and again.
time and again,
And
yes,
I like your name for them, which is a grab and go.
grab and go.
And how much is that?
That's $12,000. And the improvements to the town hall. Audio and speakers would be 4,400, and we estimated all of this based on a review of equipment done 6 months ago, so I'm not sure. Not
Best we-
sure the exact
Best we
price,
could do it rather short.
right? That's basically it.
Did you mention the questions the select board asked?
They wanted to know about closed caption.
That's all, nothing else.
That's about it.
We're hopeful their happiness means we get them.
Ooh,
We're hopeful they know the clause it back in.
so this is the
Or-
COVID money that,
It's called ARPA, I don't know.
American Recovery.
Recovery Program. Something like that. First word's American, I remember that.
Recovery.
Recovery, I think's right. Program, I think's right. Anyway, so we did our part.
thank you.
Now you piqued my curiosity.
Sorry.
The only other thing is I interviewed a couple of potential videographer candidates, but there were no hires. I wasn't all that pleased,
Oh,
so,
Oh, that's just kind of amazing.
yeah.
That, that's too bad. I just. What are young people doing? I mean, it just seems like it's a, you know.
I had someone lined up who was perhaps the best candidate I have ever interviewed. It took HR 3 weeks
Okay.
to get their references,
Mhm.
3 weeks.
hmm,
By that time, the person was gone.
hmm.
And one of the things that, when I'm interviewing, it's not just so much the questions that are important to me, it's the level of confidence of the person coming in. Especially because they're gonna do live broadcasts, they have to have their act together. They have to, the people I interviewed were very nice and very competent, but there were a few things missing. And I couldn't,
No, very good. I'm not, and I'm not questioning that. It's
Yeah.
just more like
Yeah.
I'm a little stunned that you just
Yeah.
can't find.
You can't get workers.
Quality.
Yeah, it's quality, yeah.
I think that's about it, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that.
Well,
Next item is the post auditorium test bed. I have no idea what that means.
Last meeting, you were going to do a mini auditorium test at the Pacios.
Right, that was a couple of months ago, and we were delayed because we couldn't get a source URL on the network to
It was a mini. one.
transport the signal live.
Right.
Since then, we are up on the network, that's why I can do live on the TriCaster. And the school has their network all set up for us now too, so that works.
So it's all working.
So it's,
So to the best of our knowledge,
yeah,
anywhere on the school network or the town network, we should be able to talk to the casters and have it be grateful and send it out over podcast.
Okay.
I saw an email this morning, it was sent this morning, checking this morning, Mr. Beardmore. So is he satisfied now that,
I don't think so.
okay,
I haven't seen anything from him.
I
And-
spoke,
and
I
I
spoke to
did
the
too,
I
weeks
spoke
ago.
to the superintendent regarding that, and about a month ago, I talked to her. And they have a lot of the equipment ready to go there. And we have the encoder. I don't know, if we have the staff to to go over there every other, we might. But we were hoping to get a look at these new encoders so that they're easy for the school department to use when streaming live.
And if they're $200 or $300, which we think they are, right?
Mhm.
It's well worth it for us to buy one and give it to them.
Right,
If they can just press 3 buttons and don't have to face to the east when they do it.
yeah.
And this is because.
We have the capabilities to do everything they're asking.
Yes.
However, we haven't done that yet for a couple of reasons.
Mhm.
One, the encoder and all the setup equipment, which I just found out a month ago, they have their audio set up, they have microphones.
And where
They-
is it?
It's in the collaborative room in the high school. So,
You should do it.
someone had, I don't know who said this, someone had said that we weren't helping out the school committee broadcast from the high school because we didn't have the equipment we needed. And therefore, everything was at a standstill because public access didn't have the equipment,
Not true.
and that was not true.
And I believe the superintendent said they supported email to us saying that it was their issue. Not ours.
Right,
Screen.
Us, I'm not us, well, yeah, us, what was on the email, to Pat, and to Joe.
I don't remember getting that, but
I don't know.
But I did talk to her and she did say, you know, she wanted us to be ready to do it. But coming up in the summer, they have very few meetings scheduled. So she wants it ready to go for the fall.
Fair enough.
We
Yes.
could also go in and
We can go in and test,
do a dummy meeting.
So
absolutely.
they go from bi-monthly to once a month in summertime.
I think something like that.
probably,
Yeah.
Okay,
A lot of hiring gets done in the summer, at least in the school systems I worked in.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like last minute hiring. So,
the next item is the enterprise fund investment. So I went on to a conference call with the financial advisor from Bartholomew. And Mylene, is that the name?
Yes, my,
I'm finally getting it right. And myself. And gave them what we had approved at our previous meeting. Which was six-month laddered treasury bonds. And they came back with a slightly different one, which actually generates just a little bit more money, so that's their job. And what they would well like to do is 2 things. One, invest all of the 720 we're talking about on day 1. So 1/3 of it goes into a 2-month bond, 1/3 goes into a 4-month bond, 1/3 goes into a 6-month bond. When the 2-month comes due, it's reinvested into a 6-month. So it's essentially what we had suggested, except it's every other month, not every month. I don't believe that'll make any significant difference. However, having gone through all that and having written down the motion so that I can give it to Steve, so he doesn't have to read his chicken scratches later. There are 2 different ways of handling this. One is every time a bond matures, they buy another one for the same amount, and the interest that it earned in that period of time comes into the fund. The other is just to reinvest all of it. And we really hadn't discussed that because, well, I hadn't thought about it, hadn't raised it. So in front of me, I have 2 motions that I wrote. One is basically, I'll read them to you, but one basically says reinvest all of it. The other one says invest at the same amount and the interest is paid into the Pacc Enterprise Fund.
what's the best?
I honestly
solution?
don't have a best solution. I kind of like it if we just reinvest the same amount each
Yeah.
time. Because it means that the rest of our fund is slowly growing.
Yes,
From that perspective, it makes sense. But in terms of compounding interest, which is a really good way of making money, investing all of it
yeah,
is better. Now, we're only, says he, only talking about somewhere in the $35,000 a year.
The long range plan for this money is for the studio, correct?
Correct.
So we don't need it coming back to us.
Right.
And it's relatively liquid because of this laddered. Way
That's
things are set up,
why
so
we
if you need
structured
to
it.
grab it and chunk of the money, you don't have to wait too long to grab it.
So every 2 months, 1/3 of it will come available. After 6 months, all of it would be available because we just stop reinvesting when somebody gives us our new space.
And that's plenty of time.
Yes, because that has to go through
Right.
town meetings.
Right.
So that's why everything got based on 6.
If the use of this is to enhance our studio fund, then I would say we need to just let it ride. So that you get the full benefit.
Both ways.
but what's the timeline again
Oh,
of our studio?
I
Can
don't say
you
so.
answer that, Pete?
It's the hybrid committee, the building committee finally came up with a very specific plan. That they're gonna take the town hall and turn it into a meeting place only.
Mhm.
And so all the town offices are gonna be put in the Ritter. An addition is gonna be built onto the Ritter for all the school offices.
Oh,
And the Passios is gonna be partly destroyed. It's gonna be kept for the food bank, the gym, storage, and pack. That's the plan.
why are
And
they
renovated, kept
destroying?
and renovated.
Oh, yes,
What's,
yes.
what's
Why
left
are,
gets
why are
rid of
they
it.
destroying some of it?
There's the 5th grade wing, when I was there, had so many termite holes.
Oh.
It was structurally unsound.
Okay.
And there are parts of it that are.
But it costs more to bring it up to code than it
Right.
does to destroy it.
And they don't want to rent it to lawyers,
Yeah.
which they could do.
Yeah,
So that was the latest plan, we
Well-
call it a hybrid plan, and they.
So
You
where-
can explain this.
Where is this? I mean, have they presented it to the select board?
Yes.
And have they presented it to Pacc?
Well, they presented, but this is a presentation that they gave the select board
When was that? Because I've been
2 weeks
watching
ago.
for that and didn't see it.
2 meetings ago.
Hmm.
Quite lengthy. And what they said that I didn't understand was the keeping pack of the studio in the town hall. Is the movement would be too difficult with wiring. I don't understand
That's
that.
absolutely untrue.
Well, that's what they said. To move that would be a big problem with wiring,
Sheer and absolute nonsense.
so that's a quote.
now what's the,
I'm not-
what's the
not
time,
you.
I don't know. if that-
what's the timeline there, speaking of?
No, it's not
I
that
have no
bad.
idea. This is, they finally come up with the most specific plan to date.
Yeah,
That's what it goes down to. They call it the hybrid plan for some reason.
okay,
And they would restore Ritter for all the town offices there.
uh-huh,
And then add addition about the same number of square feet for all the school offices. And so there would be an adjacent buildings that park out back.
For which there's no parking, but that's not.
Well, there will be all the way back, sure.
where, like near where the primary school
Sure,
was?
and all in front of it, where the start was.
Yeah,
Where the old Comcast, where the old Comcast building was, the electric company, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the town hall, they said it's just gonna be a meeting place. They're gonna strip out all where the selectmen are, strip out all those other offices, make a big open room. And downstairs, enlarge most rooms there to have meeting places like this,
uh-huh,
all meeting places would be there. There'll be an elevator as you walk in the door to the second floor,
oh, good,
And where are they gonna store all the records?
the fastest. Which they are now, if you go,
Oh,
this room's full already.
and,
There won't be in the tower of the town hall, it's only people.
Right, that sounds not good.
This
That was
has,
the plan that was presented.
this has to go through a town meeting
Oh,
to get the money to do the engineering.
All kinds of refinements, but at least they come up with.
Yeah.
I understand that. What
Yeah.
what I'm trying to answer Faith's
Yeah,
question
because
is,
that's what, I just wanna know in terms of what to expect and how liquid. Or how accessible the enterprise fund will be for when we need it for the studio.
we'll get at least 6 months' notice. Yeah. The way the bonds are structured is if we are told we can start working, putting a studio together, that will have to go through a town meeting. They have them nominally every 6 months, it's not like that,
Yeah,
close enough. We would get permission, we would have to do quite a lot of the engineering that's needed specifically for the interior of the
Yeah.
space.
I got the impression the report the town was gonna help.
oh, good.
I got the opposite impression from listening to them, but thank you for that, I really appreciate it.
And the smiley face.
So,
So at
Really?
the very, very
That's
least,
interesting.
it's gonna be at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's probably more like three.
simpler, it's going to be at least that, plus we get at least 6 months' notice.
Yeah.
When it's going to happen, and at the end of 6 months, with 6 months' notice, we can be in all cash in the Peg Enterprise Fund.
Okay,
So that answer your question?
yes.
And
thank you.
just a point, if the school department's gonna go into the river, that would have to be done before they could do anything to Passios,
Yeah,
because they would have to move out.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They couldn't renovate the Passios for us until the school department moves out.
because we're getting
Or
the
move.
school
Or
department
move, because
space.
I don't know what space we're gonna get.
The same as town hall.
One of the selectmen on his own told me they're hoping to get this done by the 300th anniversary. The whole thing,
Only 20
which is 5 years.
I don't think it'll be that quick.
Well, what I
We
was,
won't see it. That's the-
okay, what I was wondering.
Single wall.
That's
who do you
the
win?
What I was wondering was if we knew where the space we were going to go to and could start some of the renovations.
Well,
If it's decent Passio, they have so much work to do to bring the building up to code.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff. has to
First
be
thing
done.
that would be destroyed.
Yeah,
So I'm confident in, like Pete says, we will be able to watch this being processed for some years. At the end of which, if a schedule is put in place, sorry about that. First time tonight.
It's like, where's Waldo? We wait for it to come.
yeah,
We can work to that schedule.
it's just
you gotta
that
use
there may be some enhancements to what we have that you would like to do, even if it means it gets knocked down, but there's some things that you could do that you might need some of the enterprise funds for.
Oh, but
Some
don't forget,
capital
we're only
improvements.
investing 720,000.
Right, so there's another couple 100,000
Yes.
available. Okay,
So, I mean, that's quote unquote, available only at the next town meeting, be it
Okay.
annual or special. Because that would have to be approved by them.
and
that's-
assuming that Comcast keeps paying us.
That's why we did the 720 rather than doing 900,
Yes.
for instance.
Right,
We've tried to be very conservative about this, so
Mhm.
that if surprises happen either way, we're still managing our money responsibly.
I had one other question.
Congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a little political, but I think I saw on the news when we were in jeopardy as a country with the debt limit, that affected the bonds. And
Yeah,
if that happens again,
what happens with the bonds is in order to sell them, if no one wants them to sell them, they have to raise the interest rate on the bonds. So the bonds right now are getting better interest rates because no one is really buying them. The 10-year bond is not doing very well, because no one wants to tie up the money for 10
Yeah.
years.
To the short.
So
ones.
what the short ones
They're doing-
are doing very well.
We're trying.
I'm assuming you're gonna do this, so if things started to go south, we would just liquidate.
Mhm. The only trouble with liquidating rather than waiting for maturity is that's what happened to the Silicon Valley Bank.
Right. Then you
They couldn't wait to maturity, they had to liquidate and they lost.
because they had mostly like 10-year bonds, people wanted their money now.
But the country can't afford to not pay their treasuries because what we're doing with this small amount of money would be completely irrelevant. We'd be having trouble finding enough money to buy a loaf of bread.
Mhm.
And this is from an outside.
The bill,
Let's start.
Bill,
let's
the
leave
bill
them
puts it
all.
off.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, it's all right.
2024 election,
Right,
which was,
which is
which
good.
is a good ways off,
Yeah.
so like, you know, I mean, ultimately, I think. The powers that be need to find a way that this doesn't just keep happening.
Right,
But ours
How
will
long
be
is
maturing
it?
every 6 months,
yeah,
Now every 2 months.
every 2 months,
Yeah.
right? Once it's in
One third
So
will mature every 2 months.
what would happen is if things are not gonna be looking good, we just every 2 months, we just liquidate.
Right.
So within 6 months, we'd have all our money, well,
Yeah.
or whatever money.
okay,
Actually, Bartholomew would become financial advisors to us through the treasury of the town. And it's up to them actually, because we're not the financial.
No, they're the ones who advise us.
They,
yeah,
and hopefully they're fiduciaries, whatever the hell that means, but it keeps showing up on TV.
yeah,
Their responsibility is not to look after their money, it's to look after our money.
right,
Right,
So I believe I'm hearing that we should reinvest the interest.
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah.
yes.
In that case, why don't we use motion 1 that I have here? Which is.
You want one of us to read it?
No, I can make it.
Okay.
I kind of been doing this whole thing, which is allowed.
Okay,
So, there we go. Okay, so the motion that I'm making, pay attention,
Go here, yeah.
is to accept the Bartholomew recommendation of investing 240,000 of the Peg Enterprise Fund in a 2-month treasury bond, 240,000 in a 4-month treasury bond, and 240,000 in a 6-month treasury bond. After 2 months, reinvest the proceeds of the 2-month bond into a 6-month bond. And after 4 months, reinvest the proceeds on the 4-month bond into a 6-month bond. Thereafter, every 2 months, as a 6-month bond matures, reinvest the proceeds into a 6-month bond. Everybody clear?
Yes,
yeah,
I will make a motion to accept it.
No, you second the motion. This is the motion.
Oh, I'll second the motion, because now we can discuss.
yes,
the motion's been seconded. So question. In a year's time, if we wish to revisit the reinvestment for whatever reason, we have that capability.
And Bartholomew's sitting there, they're taking a small amount, which is.
Right, and I'm thinking
Five
rolling
basis
it
points.
over is probably less expensive than to have them figure out what the interest is.
Yeah.
Sending it to us, because that's more paperwork. and more things. So I'm thinking rolling it over, it's just whatever the minimum charge is. for-
Right.
for administration.
One thing as a practice we probably should do is if this is going to be executed this month, because I got an email from. If this is going to be executed this month, then as a matter of practice on our every June Pacc meeting, we should review our fund investment. But that doesn't need to be a motion or anything. What we should- So it's a good time after 12 months that we should review it potentially with Bartholomew if necessary. So I have a motion which I made, I have a second which Steve made.
And I
Any
have a
further
request,
discussion?
yes,
Congratulations.
and the request or the further discussion would be to kindly ask, if you put on the agenda to have an update of once this is all in. That's just a Just let us know.
Oh, okay,
So
so
next meeting.
Yeah.
Steve can leave the same item on the agenda as we presently have.
And just change the update.
Yeah,
Okay, that's it for me.
So, hearing no further discussion, all those in favour of the motion as presented by the esteemed chair of this august committee. Aye,
I,
being unanimous.
Too many attributes.
Good work.
yes,
Very
very
good
good work.
It's motion one. If you want, I can email it.
Oh,
It's nice to have.
You
money
can,
in
you
the-
can if you want. I haven't been able to get into my town email, because it won't load on my computer at the moment.
Okay, I've just been given a whole bunch of directions so I can get a town email. So like you send it from my town email, it doesn't work to your town email.
Sure.
it doesn't.
I'll just copy.
You're supposed to have one. In fact, you should have had, a part of this discussion,
Okay,
you should have had an email from Susan, whatever. it is. Susan, the IT department. And you should probably have got it on the 30th of October of last year.
yeah, I think I did have that.
And it tells you how to log into Microsoft Office 375 and 365. I don't know. Whatever it is.
What?
I don't know what machine you've got, but that also gave you your password and your town email.
I don't think I
And you have a town email.
anymore.
From my,
I had a town email from the summer I started serving on this committee, but I think that's because I was new. And I was new last.
Do you have one? Do you use one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I
You
think-
refuse.
I have one, but I never use
You're page 17.
That's
and
right.
you're with them.
it. That's right.
Chili.
I just had my house removed, it's on the roof.
First email I sent to Dave,
It's
it's
17.
because I couldn't read your writing, so I sent it to Dave, it. Didn't go anywhere.
Now, is it something that's installed on a, like we have a laptop at home, but my husband doesn't like a lot of stuff on it.
Do you have Microsoft Office?
I don't know, we probably do.
It's all done under Outlook.
Yeah, I used to use Outlook when I worked, but
You're not
The
working.
problem is this letter basically puts you into the town's licensed copy of Microsoft
Mhm.
365.
So you have to be careful to only use it for town business,
Yeah.
because once you create the document, it's,
So my problem is I already have it on mine. And I do not want this coming in and changing things that I've set up, because it's mine. I don't want it
oh, yeah,
to say it's Lunenburg Town
They
official
can't
document.
coexist. Parallel.
That's my problem, so
I would think they can coexist,
I don't. think
and I'll
they
tell you
can
why,
exist. They
for
shouldn't.
someone I had to set up a Microsoft. Whatever, account to get in to do something. And when they set up my email, they said that they found that there was another one, and they deleted that account.
What?
I used it once for something,
Oh,
and then I never used it again.
okay.
So I said, okay, I guess you can
I
only have,
use it all the
so,
time.
they could delete your other one.
My license copy is also what Monica uses for all the church business.
yeah.
You can't.
So
get rid of
I would
that.
be very careful, because
Yeah,
they went and deleted it without asking.
Mm.
I'm sure you could probably keep both of them, but
What Joe does, which is very kind of her, if it comes into Joe and she sees my town address there as well, then she forwards it to me. That's a working process, which I'm very happy.
and I believe Joe is at the top of the account, is the
Yeah.
top admin, so like if I inadvertently use my Excel to create a spreadsheet in the town account, which I don't want it to be in the town account. I'm not able to delete that, she has to delete it.
You're kidding. That's even
That's how
worse.
it works.
That's
Because you're
worse.
working, because you're basically working in the cloud, dealing with other,
oh,
I
okay,
don't use any of the other features.
so I'm just not using it.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're good with, should I send it to your old address, Steve, or you just?
Yeah, you can send it to the old address, or I can type it in. By the time I get it from you, I can type it in.
Excellent.
And it'll be in the minutes I send out, and if it's incorrect, you can correct it.
It'll be correct by
It'll be
definition.
correct. You're good.
The enterprise, so I will inform Mylene tomorrow, Mylene.
Mylene.
Thank you.
Yeah, 'cause
Tomorrow.
then July first.
That we've approved. I don't know if it's,
Is it a monthly thing?
I
Well, there'll
don't
be a date.
know that, but that's what Bartholomew gets paid. We don't pay.
Yeah.
Okay, Pacc equipment setup policy review update. I have no idea what that means either.
Yeah, what is that?
Anybody?
Well, I
Well,
think
no, it
she
was
gave
on
an
last week.
update, on what you've done
Wait a
in
minute, what do you want?
the schools and everything else.
Is that what it was for?
I have no idea, honestly.
I'm thinking it probably had to do with. No.
Okay, I think that might have had to do with the water district, because we had a conversation
Oh,
about
yes.
them saying, you can't do that.
That's right.
Yeah, and you, you
And
talked
someone
about
was
that,
going to, in the minutes, it's in the minutes.
yes.
Was it you? Someone was gonna talk to someone.
I hope it wasn't me, because I didn't.
Oh, no, we passed over, so.
Document sent to town lawyer for review.
And town lawyer said that they basically can
Tell us
tell
what,
us what to
what
do.
we can do or not do.
They can,
They
No,
can
but
tell us
no,
where
but
they want.
We had an entitlement for meetings to place microphones such that we could get a good signal. You
Yeah.
told us that as well, because that's the
yeah.
brunt of the issue.
That's true.
Right.
So that's the one we have to find a way of working with.
Sounds like a typical lawyer, and tells you all the gray
He
area.
gave us like 7 pages of case law. Some of it was actually before electricity was invented.
Yeah.
So basically,
This is all this Pete. Oh, sorry.
So what do we wanna do with that? Do we,
Yeah, what do we want to
are
do?
you satisfied that they say, no, you can't put PZA mics on the tabletop or whatever?
The problem in part is this is only an issue for their annual meeting.
Right,
Which will be next March. It's in March.
right.
So what we do, I believe, is keep those documents that say we're entitled to make adequate video and audio.
is that what the lawyer said?
Yes, that's what all this case, there are all sorts of rulings of who appealed against the open law. And
I don't recall exactly what, yeah,
it went on and on.
yeah,
But what we should do is have that in our back pocket when we set up for their annual meeting and say, based on this, we're allowed to do this, because otherwise we can't get adequate audio, which is a
Conversation.
requirement
Yeah.
of the open law meeting.
Are we required to do their annual meeting?
It's kind of weird because the water department is
Is a separate
it's not
entity,
part of the town.
right?
Well, it covers pilot.
I mean, if they refuse to let us do a good job, then we can refuse to do it, to cover it.
While I absolutely agree with you, I don't think that would be in our best interest. I would love. to
It's
do
only
it.
one meeting.
Well, we
they-
also record.
They
their
have
own
special
meetings.
meetings as well, and this all came about because of the train wreck of a special meeting that they had that month. So where open mics were left open and inappropriate things were said, so I think that they're afraid that if we have open mics sitting on the tabletop, they're gonna pick up.
And in part, their argument is the select board can turn their microphones on and off.
So then they should like close it and turn on.
Yeah,
yeah, their microphones were not adequate at their annual meeting at all.
mhm.
I mean, they were. The microphone for an audience member to come and speak was perfect, was great. The moderator's microphone was great, but the microphones for the commissioners at the table were terrible. We couldn't get any sound out of
Were
them.
they like just basic cardioid mics? or they-
I think so. Yeah,
So whose responsibility is it to have adequate mics? Are they to buy the equipment or are we to buy the equipment?
It's kind of separated insofar as it's their meeting. If they want to put mics in that go through speakers, the people in the room. Is that what they were doing? It was set up that way?
Yeah,
They can do that. And we also can put in microphones that we need to make an open meeting law appropriate recording of the meeting. It is an open meeting, so they're not, just because they're not part of the town the way we are, it's still an open meeting. They're subject to the open meeting.
And
That's what the lawyer came back with.
That's an actual monitor out of this.
Up until this last meeting,
I don't know. I just-
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's 160 people in the room.
Wow.
That's why we're getting difference watching.
Yeah.
More people went to that.
So they can take
Wow.
feed right from that.
wow,
The vote was 7,
yeah,
7,
we
7,
didn't
7.
before, but that would be the best thing.
And if they don't have a monitor out, you just put the Wi-Fi in.
This is what I'm thinking, listening to all this. I think
You
that,
know what I mean?
Hang on,
Well,
one-
I've never done it, but yeah.
Plug one in and then it just gives 2 outs.
Oh,
They have their out to their speaker, you have an out to our.
I don't want us touching their equipment.
Try to
Meanwhile,
see that.
Paul has a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
so the comment, I don't know, if it's a comment, but basically it's sort of my take on it. What seems to be missing right now is just an actual sit-down conversation with their commissioner, like their head commissioner, to just say, look. We understand why you don't want us to have complete control over the microphones. You need to understand that we want to deliver you quality, we don't want to be putting stuff out. How do you do?
Right.
So that we should, I basically just think a conversation
diplomacy.
will go a long way to getting everyone what they want. You know, if they can, if they need microphones, they can switch on and off, then they should get microphones, they can switch on and off. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Not if we're recording the meeting. They can't have conversations in an open meeting that they turn on and off at their will.
That's the micro. that's the
well,
law.
the select board
Select board
does
does.
at their annual town meeting.
But they
There's
don't
the
have
button.
Conversations with them.
Sure do.
They sure do.
So does the
Beat
fire
each
chief.
other.
Really shouldn't.
They would lean over and talk to the guy or gal next to them.
Yeah,
And,
All done.
Just like in a very low voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen it
And
too.
how do you mic those meetings? You don't have PZMs for those, it's just from the, it'd be out from the main audio board,
Main audio board.
but just, again, it just seems to me that. When it gets to be 2 months before their annual meeting, or they also have to give due notice if they ever have a special meeting. Then we should set up a meeting with their,
That's
That was
actually-
suggested by the
that's
lawyer as
sensible.
well.
right, and then just everyone get on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
We have a lot of pages they can get. Okay, we good with that as a strategy?
Yes,
That brings up something I want to ask about. Do we have to record all these committees that we do?
I can't answer that with an answer that you're looking for. In one sense, yes, we do. If any committee asks for it.
If they ask for it,
Or,
or if they don't ask for it.
or if the select board or the town manager or someone else asks that it be done. Then I believe we have to do it as town department and it's in our best interest. That's part of the key. We want to be seen to be doing a proper and good job. We shouldn't be selecting which ones to do and which ones especially not to do. That would be a big problem.
Well, I asked because at the last select board meeting, Tom suggested we take everybody.
I'm sure he did.
And I brought it up to the council on aging and they shut it. All the elderly people don't want to be on TV. And I think we'll put a damp on meetings.
It's impossible with the staff we have to do
Yes.
every meeting. I mean, we cover a lot right now.
For what
But-
purpose does he want every meeting recorded?
It's not a
have
legal
to call
record
him.
of the meeting.
yeah,
It's not a legal record of the meeting, right? It's not a legal record. The minutes are a legal record.
yeah.
That's right. And the minutes can't be put into town hall until after they've been approved.
Right.
So there's no record of the meeting, whatever. It was on. And if you try to look at some of them, minute committees never get there for 6 months or whatever.
if ever.
Maybe when they make the town hall into a big meeting area, they can equip every room to be able to record meetings and it doesn't have to have.
Yeah, except we're in GC Passios and whatnot, what the hell's going on?
No, I mean, like, just to do it for themselves internally, you know, make their own sort of deal.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, what I'm hearing is for the water board, the next time they call either a special or an annual meeting. Joe and at least one member of the committee, which I suspect might be me.
I'd be
will-
very happy to do it, if, unless you want to do it. Because I have dealings with,
Probably
the Commissioner Mark Birch.
Oh,
they did their part of this.
maybe that's why you shouldn't.
Well,
But anyway, let's not worry about that now. We
Yeah.
don't need that.
right, but I'm willing to go if it's not any kind of
And
conflict.
actually, we can have two committee members. If we have three, we have a problem. Are we good with that?
Yes,
Yes.
Hearing
need a
nothing
motion?
else, I don't believe so.
okay.
Mhm.
Pack staff abuse of person, didn't we?
But that's already been voted in.
I thought that was already done. So.
No, I think
I think we skipped it.
we skipped it. I think,
Oh, this is used for personal equipment.
personal, yeah, we did the other one.
We did a different one.
Table, need to run wording of policy by town lawyer.
Did we write the wording? I think we did write the wording.
I believe so.
So.
Someone was writing the wording.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me,
I thought we
That
did
is
it.
it was you.
Well, Levi submitted it
Prize fund.
back a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I
Yeah.
remember you submitted it.
Yeah, this is the last.
No,
So,
So Steve, if you can find it as secretary of the select body. I
you
believe,
can also look too, I mean, I believe we,
I believe you can send it to the town lawyer through the town offices. And just set up meetings. and things. No, you don't.
Well,
want to throw it. We got to find the wording.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily have to do that now.
I'll look quickly. At the April 1, Paul, adopt policy pending town council review.
Was April the first?
April 10th.
Oh.
That's when it was-
it was presented by, I'm looking at minutes from, April 10th, is that what you just mixed up? Yes. So it was presented by Faye. And it requires its employees and volunteers to use PAC equipment for PAC assignments. Exceptions to this can be made with prior managerial approval.
Yeah.
Provided the individual sign a waiver reading PAC about liability. So I think we just have to run by the 20 minutes. For that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that. Were you the one that presented it?
Yes.
So you
I
would have.
didn't.
Well, if it is, you
I
did the
think I
minutes.
told
The motion to adopt it.
We should do that.
I'll leave you. Also,
So April 10th.
Yeah,
So,
there was one meeting that you weren't able to attend and somebody else. did, so.
April 10th.
Yeah, same page.
Yeah, first one is policy. update. Fourth.
Yeah.
There we go. I got the minutes, there, part of March. Only April. It's April 10th. Let me see.
right, that's why it's not like-
Yeah,
April 10th, I just want to make sure I have it.
I mean,
Oh, there's.
if you don't, what
Policy, yeah, crimes and criminals.
Hence my question.
Okay, so you just want me to send that?
With a note asking if you please
I don't know
review
why.
it for legality or something.
oh, you know what, I might have made it up at our meeting just to get.
we
the
did it
motion.
on the fly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because I didn't write anything,
Yeah.
but we sort of all put it
Yeah, we kind
together
of put
in
something,
a motion, I remember that now.
So send to Heather, I guess, right? Who do I send it to?
Well, the lawyer is coming next week for office hours. So,
I wonder if we can just send it, because by the time we. Take 20 minutes, he works in 20 minutes, time slot. And then he goes away and does in 15-minute time slots work, which you can charge the town for. I guess we're on the
All right,
return.
well, I'll send it to Heather and say,
Okay.
could she have the lawyer review it?
Yeah,
She'll advise.
Yeah.
yeah.
She'll tell me.
Sounds
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you. So
Minutes are a good thing.
Yes, they are.
the next meeting, apparently not on July the 4th.
July
Okay.
10th.
Which is a Monday.
Yep.
Okay,
And it's here still,
yeah,
It is here without me,
okay.
because I'll be there,
And at
Who's
that
gonna do the
meeting,
minutes?
I'll do the minutes, unless you want to do the minutes.
No.
unless it rains.
I have good,
I don't
good
have-
coaching from Mr. Steve Archibald because
Okay, good.
I thought you volunteered to do.
Again. Oh, hey,
You did, I'm left-handed.
it.
I saw your minutes.
Okay,
Your
okay.
minutes look like 4 hours.
I believe Paul is volunteering to do.
yes,
Yes,
because
Thank you.
you've done it before.
yes, and I've learned now that
Just be,
they're called minutes for a reason.
you just be aware, you only have 2.5 hours to get them out to all.
No.
Send me what you have and then I'll put it. I'll put it in. I'll copy and paste or whatever.
Sounds good.
So 6 o'clock, July the
Since it
10th.
came up just now, what if it rains, what happens to town to go to the bank process?
You go to the rain date
To the end of it.
in August.
System.
If it rains, I can be here.
Yeah, but I won't be here because I don't have a roof on my car, so if it rains.
I mean, you sweet umbrella. Get a big umbrella.
Very proper.
Now, we needed to talk about, so that we could get them, the.
I don't have anything booked for August.
I know, so we
No.
need,
We said we'd do that in July because we didn't know who the committee members were going to.
Good point.
we don't?
No,
Someone
we haven't
might
been
want to
told
be
yet.
kicked
We're
off the committee.
presuming we're still on it, so we've not been told that.
Oh,
So generally, one of the things at the first meeting of the financial year is you try and do what people would be delighted with, is come up with a schedule and stick to it. I'm sorry, stick to it. Are we good?
we're good.
Yeah, I
Do I hear a motion to
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Feel the recording, appreciate it.
Good night.